Welcome to another episode of Escape the J Curve. This is number 45, and I am your host, Rohan. Welcome to the show, and I want to ask you guys, how are you doing? I know it's been tough times. Last 5 months have been crazy with all the things that have been happening with COVID, people dying and bad news all around. But I hope all of you are doing well. All of you are keeping safe. All of you are focusing on your health and have lots of things going on. This is a wonderful time to get started on your dreams and passions, on things that you have been putting off. There's lots of extra time. We are, stuck at home. We are bored. And I see a lot of people doing a lot of things. For example, I know someone who is a good musician and who is publishing on a regular basis on YouTube and Instagram Live. So he is doing what he loves, and he's publishing on a regular basis on music on different platforms. I know so many other people who are doing so many other things. Some have started their own business, which they have put off for years, and they finally realize it's a good opportunity to start again. And so many other things. So what I'm trying to say basically is, although it looks gloomy, although it looks sad, although it looks depressing, no good news so far this year, and it's been absolutely bad in terms of the economy and all other things. But there is a way to look at it as well, as an opportunity, as a unique opportunity to start something you've always been passionate about, but just couldn't get the time. We don't have to go to the office now. We don't spend a lot of time socializing. We are not going out to the pubs and bars. We are not traveling. And there's Netflix, yes. And I don't know, you must have seen all the content on Netflix and you're done. I think there's nothing new to watch. So I think it's a great opportunity as well. The boredom and the anxiety, if you can use that or channel that in a positive way, good things can come out of it. And and one of the things that came out for me was this during the COVID-19 situation was this podcast. I remember it like it was yesterday when I decided to launch this podcast, and I recorded my first episode. And in that episode, I talked about my origin story, so to speak. This origin story is way back in Diwali 2019. I was sort of going through a funk where I realized that, I'm not doing as much as I could be doing with my life. And then decided to make a few changes in my life, get my health back in order, get my finances back in order, do something creative. And in one of the things and also start an e-commerce business. But when I launched my e-commerce business, it was COVID already, so I had to do something else. So I decided to write a book, and I decided to start this podcast, and I talk about all those things in the first episode. And I remember just having completed recording my first episode, and I was super nervous and super judgmental of the content. I knew that it wasn't good content, and it was my first time and I sucked real bad at it. But I decided to hit publish anyway. And now it's 1.5 months later, and I've been publishing on a regular basis. I was so afraid that I would be done after 10 episodes. I would not have anything else to say, but surprisingly that didn't happen. I've been able to churn out consistent episodes over time, and also I've been super lucky to be able to reach out to us, a bunch of very successful people with, somebody who is a spiritual teacher, to authors, to productivity managers, to dating coaches, to successful network marketeers, entrepreneurs, digital nomads, musicians, actors, and so much more. And Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a journey, and I loved every minute of it. Although it's not always easy to get good content across, or get uh, a good person on the show, somebody who would add a lot of value to the show. But I've been thankfully, uh, able to get a lot of very accomplished people from different walks of life into the show. And a bit of an update on the personal front as well. The last couple of days were not that good, because I have a problem with my cervical spine. My C3 and C4 discs are herniated, and sometimes I get immense pain, and I just cannot sit upright. It's so bad, and that's why I could not publish an episode yesterday. But I have decided to hire a personal trainer who would help me get through the problem that I face. So he's going to help me with my herniated disc. He's going to help me with physiotherapy and building strength around that area, so and flexibility, so it doesn't happen as regularly as it does. Usually, like a month of each year for me is spent in real pain when I'm working long days on a chair, and I'm just staring at my laptop. At the end of the day, I just cannot take the pain anymore when the area is really, really bad, and throbbing pain in my neck and upper back. Hopefully that's going to be solved. I'm going to start working out with my personal trainer from the 1st of September, and I'm going to get into the best shape of my life, and also solve this C3 and C4 condition forever. I'm just done with it. And I am super excited that I am going to launch my book, The 76-Day Lockdown Guide, tomorrow. It's going to be live on Kindle. Yay! I'm going to publish it tomorrow, and I'm going to be releasing the link to get hold of the copy of the book, on Kindle, on all my social media, and I'm going to leave a link in the podcast description. So if you're excited, you can grab a copy of the book from Kindle, from the Kindle store tomorrow onwards. I'm super excited about the book, man. Like, the premise of the book is, what can you do to optimize yourself, to go through a personal transformation during this COVID-19 scenario. As I was talking about in the beginning of the episode, we have plenty of time. We are not going to work. We are not driving through traffic for 2 hours a day. We are not socializing. We are not going out. We are not traveling. We are just working, sitting in front of our laptops and taking calls. That's how we are getting our professional lives handled. But the extra time that we have, the extra 2 hours per day that we don't have to travel to work every day, that can be used to learn a new skill, probably start your own business, or doing something creative for people who are creatively inclined, like recording a song, practicing your musical skills, painting your next amazing painting, or whatever that might be. So that's what the book is all about. I have put in all the strategies that I've learned during one successful period of my life, and I have put those strategies into the book. And those things I have gleaned from all the successes that I had, and every time I followed those steps, I got success. Every time I didn't, I failed miserably. So I have put those strategies in place in the book, so that you can use it. And the beautiful opportunity that COVID has brought to us. I know for the people who are really suffering and they might know people who are infected, or close people or relatives or friends who are suffering from COVID. But for the people who are not really impacted by COVID from the perspective of their health, but they are thinking about their future finances, and they know that it's very important in a time like this to get additional sources of income in place, and to upskill, to learn new things, to try new things, maybe even build some digital assets that could produce money in the long run passively in the future. Those things are very important in today's day and time. And that's what I discuss in the book. And what I'm going to do today, I've got a beautiful screenshot of my second chapter of the book, and that contains the first paragraph of my second chapter of my book, and I'm going to post it all over social media. That's going to be a sneak peek or a preview or some sort of a behind the scenes on what you can expect if you are looking forward to getting the book and knowing more about the strategies that I've used to do a lot of stuff during COVID-19. I've been able to get rid of a lot of bad habits. I've been more productive. I have launched podcast. I've written a book. All those strategies and tips are there in the book, and it's for you to use and maybe even do something wonderful in this not so good times. And in the previous episode, I was just giving you an overview of chapter 1. So in chapter 1, I talk about my wake-up call. And I'm going to read you through chapter 2. So when I had the wake-up call around Diwali 2019 that I'm not doing something big with my life that I would be proud of, I decided to look at what did I do well in the times that I've tasted success in the past. And I lay it all out in chapter 2. So maybe I'll not read through it because it might be boring, but I can tell you an interesting story about what's there in the book. So in chapter 2, I start off the chapter 2 with the importance of planning, and I knew this from looking back at my success. So let me take you back to Singapore in 2019, and I think, not 2019, but 2010, about 9-10 years ago now, and I was in the worst shape of my life, period. I was super obese and I could not move and I didn't have any energy, and I faced difficulties doing the most basic tasks. Okay, I just struggled with, brain fog and a crab diet and all those things. So it was so bad that I did one thing, like get up, get dressed, get to work and get back home. And I didn't have any energy left to do anything else. Like I was so lazy that I didn't even watch Netflix or consume content on YouTube. I was that tired from just doing the most basic of tasks. And then one fine day, I just was changing into my work clothes, and I looked at myself at the mirror, and I was like, whoa, what have you done to yourself? This has got to go. Okay. And then I decided to make a change. I made a promise to myself that I am not going to visit any of my friends or my parents till I am in shape. So I think that was around November or December 2010. I think it was around December 2010. And I make the decision that I am not going to, this is probably the most important goal in my life, and I have to get this, and I am not going to do anything apart from getting into shape. I mean, of course, you have to do some things like whatever, like getting groceries and going to work and doing all those things, but this would be my primary focus. And what I did was I decided to book a flight back home 6 months from that time. So it was December 2010, let's say, and I think around May, I booked a flight ticket back home. And I made a promise that I'm not going to tell my parents that I'm coming back home. They didn't know till the time I rang the doorbell on at my house that I was coming home. And in the next 6 months, I managed to lose about 75 to 80 pounds of body fat, and I was in the best shape of my life. That was amazing. Okay. And the 180 days I am talking about, I was totally obsessed with my goal. That was the only thing that I thought about, like my entire life was around how do I eat healthy? How do I manage time to get 2 workouts in a day? So I also used to cook my own food at the time. So I didn't eat anything that wasn't part of my diet for 6 months. And I worked out twice every day. And I knew how many calories I'm eating every day, how many carbohydrates, how many proteins, how many fat. It was down to a T. And I don't remember missing a workout, or I don't remember missing a meal. And that means, eating a fast food diet or whatever, like really shit food. I didn't touch it for 6 months. And that was that. I managed to go from where I was, I think I was about, 225 pounds or maybe even more, 230 pounds. And I went down to 150. In 6 months, and I boarded the flight. I reached home and I rung the doorbell. My parents opened the door. They didn't know I was coming. My phone was switched off for 24 hours. They were super worried. But when they saw me, the pride, they just could not recognize me. The pride in their eyes was nothing like I've ever felt. Probably I was on the brink of tears. How moved I felt, how moved my parents were. It was just amazing. So that's what I talk about in chapter 2 of the book, setting goals and being your goal. If you want to achieve something big during the COVID-19 lockdown, you have the time. Probably you have a goal. Probably you want to, write a new book or publish song covers for your favorite songs, or maybe even try out affiliate marketing, internet marketing, starting a new business, whatever it is. If you have a big goal, you do have the time. Please become your goal. Okay? Like, you are your goal. That's all that happened. So that was one of my biggest epiphanies or learnings from doing that at that point in my time, nothing else mattered. I was only focused on my eating, my working out, and that's it. Nothing else mattered. The only thought, I was completely obsessed with it. The only thought about that I had was how I am going to achieve my target before I board the flight back home. That was it. And chapter 2 talks about that in more details, how you should be planning, how big should your plans be, and things of that nature. It's a very interesting book. I think I was just delaying launching the book. So I was just going through the manuscript before recording the podcast, and I saw another spelling mistake that I made. I put in a lot of time for this book, and I've killed myself working, getting this book perfect, trying to fix every spelling mistake. But content-wise, I think it's very good content. I just laid all out, lay everything I know about achieving goals in that book, and it's coming out tomorrow, and I'm super excited to get it to you. So this is sneak peek for chapter 2 of my book, 76-day lockdown guide, and it's coming out tomorrow. I'm going to leave a link in the description and in my social media for the Kindle page where you can get this book if you're super excited. I would love to have your reviews on the book. In fact, I might be also releasing the book for free, or maybe even 99 cents for a month or two, just to get the message across. Maybe I would leave it to 100 people, the first 100 people who get the book on Amazon, who get the book on Kindle. It's for free. I have not decided that, but I could, think about doing that, because I just want to get this message across, because I think it's important. I think it's helpful. I think it'll give value. I think it'll help you transform yourself. And there we are. Thank you for listening into another episode on Escape the J-Curve. And we will catch up tomorrow for the teaser for chapter 3, what the book has, what do I talk about in chapter 3 of 76-day lockdown guide, and I am so excited to tell you about chapter 3. Thank you so much for listening in. Listen, thanks so much for listening to the episode. I really appreciate it. Now, if you think you have got any value out of this episode, please make sure to engage with the content. My podcast is available on all of the platforms like Spotify, like Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Breaker, and it's also even available on YouTube. So if you got some value out of this content, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment, or please download and share it with someone who would get value out of this. That's all I ask. Thank you so much.